Hi! Today I wanted to talk a little bit about my Techo system, my planner system, and just kind of go into each book that I use and what I use it for. Before I jump in, it's pretty well known that I'm a Hobonichi user. If you watch any of my other videos, it's pretty clear that all I use is Hobonichi, but that may change in the future. It's just where I tend to, it's my one-stop shop. So yeah, just Hobonichis. And let's get right into it. This is my A6. This is my Hobonichi original. It's my everyday carry, and I use it for all of my life stuff. Things that have to do with just everyday function, I suppose. It's pretty work heavy, pretty appointment heavy, and but it's like my day job type work. It's not like my art type work. We'll get to that later. I put it in a cover and a cover on cover, and I use a shitsajiki. Sometimes I change it out depending on the season. I use a Pilot Kakuno that I change colors depending on the season. And each month it's filled with a corresponding color of Pilot Iroshizuku ink to match the pages of the actual Techo. Inside, see, it has a lot of stuff, and I'll get to why that is. I have a lot of accessories that I put in the pockets, but it's just pretty decorated. This year I decided to go all out because I really wanted it to be kind of fun in contrast to the businessy side of things that go on in here. So the entire planner centers around the daily pages, really, not just in design but in the way that I do things. I use the daily pages to plan my day and track what's happening and time block and make a little checklist, almost very bullet journal-esque. And I do a meal tracker and a mood tracker. And then everything else, all of the other sections are kind of auxiliary to that. The month on 2 pages is the second most important because it's where I put all of my plans at kind of a glance. I can see my work schedule, my pay schedule, birthdays, appointments, holidays, stuff like that. And everything else kind of aids these two sections. The yearly overview serves as a place where I can put large blocks of time that are significant, like vacations or appointments that I'm going to be planning months in advance, that sort of thing. It's stuff that I really need to see way far in the future or way far in the past for super important things that I just need to not forget the date. But other than that, I don't really use that much of it. The monthly indices I use as financial tracker. The top I put the account amount of money I have in my account, the amount of money that I have cash, and then the rest of the month I will do a tracker. Any transactions that I do, I will mark them here. Money coming in, money going out, that sort of thing. And then the mini calendar in the bottom right hand corner is what I use as a sort of reminder of what's going on in the month. So I use the Tricolor Uni Jetstream pen to kind of give myself a code of what types of events are going on in the month, and it's pretty much copied over from the month on 2 pages. All of the back pages, I use them. If they can be used, I use them. My memo pages serve as places to stick stationery to bring with me, make notes, and have goodbye letter at the end of the year to the Techo. And the turning a page to a new year is actually it's where I go to put my New Year's resolutions, and then I do a little opening letter to the Techo asking it for the energy and intentions for the year, that it might help me achieve my goals. And then it's just this year I decided to go very decorative on this one because it's like I said, there's a lot of business happening in here, a lot of obligation stuff happening in here that I don't necessarily have a lot of enthusiasm towards, and I want this to be a place that's going to help me go back to those obligations, and nothing better than stickers and bright colors and post-it notes to kind of entice me to want to look at it. So yeah, that's really all that's in here. My second planner, and this is really the only other planner I have, if I'm being real. This is my art planner, and I have a separate planner because all of my art stuff will just not fit in to my everyday carry. It's just such a big part of my life that I couldn't fit it into the everyday carry. So this is an art planner. This one is, by contrast, not very decorated at all, despite being pre-print decorated. Like that was the trade-off, because I also need some kind of incentive to come into this planner and see where I need to do stuff. So it's very pretty already. It's been pre-prettified for me, and then the only thing that I use to kind of decorate it is 2 packs of kita right here that I use to divide the top and bottom of a page. And like right there, and then I'll separate these into little boxes as well. These are kind of my everyday checklists, and then over here I use these dots to separate this horizontal bar into beginning, middle, and end. If I start a project, it goes here. If I'm continuing a project, it goes here. And if I've finished a project, it is getting posted here. I use the kita to divide the page into top and bottom for what I plan this week and what I have coming up next week. And although I don't typically use these little mini calendars down here, I do occasionally use them if there's something significant coming up. I feel as I go forth in my art endeavors, I may end up using this actually a lot more for scheduling, because hopefully I can maybe make this more of a life path for me to pursue a lot more art-related projects that require me to plan ahead for. The memo pages are a myriad of things. I use them for brainstorming, tips and tricks for myself, critique and feedback, pen tests, etc. Tutorials that I find online that I really want to remember or write down. And the only pen I really use is the Uni Jetstream Tricolor with the occasional mild liner in order to color code. I used to use a stencil. It was a Moomin stencil that came with the actual previous planners that I've gotten, but I think this is good. I think this is nice and simple, and it's an auxiliary planner for me to use alongside my everyday carry. Now, the difference is that I typically don't take this out of the house, because a lot of my artwork is done at home. If I were to do gigs or events, I think that would be a much different story. But yeah, that's the only other planner that I have. But there are a couple Hobonichis that I use for on almost a daily basis that are important enough for me to include in this. And one of them is my A5. It used to house a cousin in here, but I found that the cousin was just too much to keep up with if I was doing a lot of other techo work. But this is my two notebooks, 2 Hobonichi notebooks in here, and it's almost like an avec type setup, but the first book is a diary, and it's pretty no nonsense. It's just fountain pen. I don't use any other types of pens in here, and no deco, no art, absolutely just writing, and it's been actually super helpful, so I'm going to keep that up. And it's nice because it's just the plain notebook. I can use as many or as few pages as I want per month just to jot down whenever I have time. And there's no pressure. It's not even like the day free where you have to eventually use it up that year because you have the calendar pages. It's just a blank notebook. So it was kind of nice. But for whatever reason, when I tried to use other blank notebooks, they didn't stick, so I ended up not journaling in them, so this one, it works. In the pockets, I just have literally like paraphernalia, I don't know, just random scraps of paper that I just like to hold on to, and of course my little cat tabs that I use for marking off each month. The second book is a sketchbook, and this is the complete opposite of the first book. I'm allowed to do anything in here. Deco, stickers, pens, pen tests, scritchy stuff, like I can really just, anything goes in here, and it's super no judgment, because I haven't had a sketchbook, like a proper sketchbook, in a really long time. I had always done art books, which is not good for the artistic process if you're trying to make everything look really, really nice and polished all the time. It just doesn't allow for you to sift through a lot of ideas and figure out which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to just let be doodles in the sketchbook. I have it divided up by season, and just like the last book, I do not have to fill it up within that year. I've actually been using these now. This is my second year using them, so that's kind of nice because I haven't had to tend to them. They're not daily things that I have to keep up like a pet or a plant or something. Yeah, I can just do whatever, whenever. It's very lax, but they are such a staple that I end up using them quite often. And the last book is, you guys have seen this, this is my Sneaker Weeks Mega. It's my catch-all, technically. I put everything in here that doesn't go in the previous planner, or even some of the things that do go in the previous planners. Like if I'm out of the house and I can only bring one planner, it's going to be this one because it fits in my pants pocket. And I can just whip it out and write whatever comes to mind while I'm out and about, and I don't have to carry a bunch of planners or deal with a bunch of stuff. But the reason why I said that this was my everyday carry is because I do technically carry it with me every day. And if I have my backpack, this is in it, and I carry it, and it's there, and I prefer, if something goes in here, to write it down in here first. But if I'm out for a quick jog or a trip or like a jaunt to the grocery store, I would take this. I also use it to write down all of my hobby interests, all of the things that I wanted to keep up. 8 glasses of water a day, meditation, guitar, that sort of thing. It's just, I use it for pretty much like anything that I want to. I'll write quotes in here, I'll write excerpts from books that I'm fascinated with, I'll put recipes. I have recipe section. I have a master to-do list in here. So this is also kind of like a reference place for me. If I have any questions about what I need to do at the time, I have master to-do list in here that is just running for all of the things that I need to do. And that's it. I mean, I use other books, but not quite as frequently as I use these for. They're fun. Useful. I am a planner person. I tried to go without a planner for a while and it did not work. I was forgetting everything left and right, and yeah, there's just something nice about keeping up with all these books and having an outlet for, I think the most important thing for me is having an outlet for each compartmentalized thing. Like, so yeah. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, just comment down below, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Okay, bye.